Yeah, good afternoon. Exciting transition here from the non-conference to the conference. Looking forward to traveling with the team. Always one of the best experiences here. Heading to two different venues, two different opponents. I think Iowa's done a really nice job here under coach, getting organized. They look improved from the last time I saw them. Had the chance to compete against them for a few years, and then a chance on Sunday to go to Nebraska, play in an environment that you want to get comfortable in for December. So, good couple days of practice, taking what we can from last weekend's competition, and trying to be both where we are and when we are. Looking forward to today's practice. So we got going on.
Does this feel like a moment where you're taking a pause to collect what data you have learned about this team, or is this still just for you one long progression?
No, this is one of our checkpoints that we've talked about. You know, you kind of have the preseason, you have the non-conference, you have first half of Big Ten play, second half of Big Ten play, and 10 weeks can feel really short, but it's also a significant amount of time to make some growth. And so you want to be really good in this next middle phase. You know, I think it's easy to show up in the beginning. In the end, you kind of show up. In the middle is where I think teams go from good to great. And so that's where we need to be really good in these first 10 matches.
Are there things that you've maybe learned in the past couple of days of looking back at this preseason that can help you moving forward?
No question, and we've learned fast, I think, is the value of what we put them through. You know, the analogy I gave them yesterday is you get a group together, you stick them into the forge, you know, and it comes out pretty white hot, and now it's ready to be hammered and molded and stretched into something that can be pretty special in December. But you got to get it heated up first. You got to put it in the fire before you start hammering away. And so that's kind of where we're at coming out of this non-conference schedule. Passionate, emotional, excited to show up to practice, and we're hammering away.
I think you've said a few times over the course of the non-conference schedule that it was you'll know at the end of September if you have what it takes to do what you want to do in December, and here we are into September, which it seems I can't believe we're here already, but do you feel like you have the answers that you can get what you want done in December based on what you saw here in September?
We've got the path. You know, we know where we're at. We know what standards we're reaching at a high level and what standards we need to get after. And you don't generally want to, you've heard me say it before, but winning hides failure and losing hides progress. And so you got to balance it out. You got to show them where the progress is made. I thought our serving last weekend reached another higher level, which is something that's been on our list for a while. I thought our middle attackers got involved in the offense, which is something we know is important long term. But you can't neglect the fact that the ultimate goal is to win every single match you play in. So you got to balance that in your communication with the team, and that's kind of what we've been doing these first 2 days back.
You sort of look at individual performance in a team setting. I think about this a lot when, you know, volleyball is such an intricate sport. There's no single piece that can operate on its own. But is there a time where you look at an individual and say, you need to be performing at X level, or that we're looking for something more out of you?
Yeah.
You try to keep it team-based.
No, there's so many individual stories going on, and little victories and little triumphs and little adversities for each individual. So, I mean, that's the thing that makes it, I think, one of the best sports is that it's a combination of individual and team aspect. And, you know, there's little things happening out there that I'm excited about. I thought Elise played a tremendous match in a moment that we had talked about. I said, I don't know when it's going to happen, but you're going to be called upon, and are you going to be ready for that moment or not? And she was certainly ready to meet that challenge. I think Lydia Grote has been consistent every day since she's got here, and what she does and how she does it. And we talk about reaping what you sow, and what you're seeing from her, I think, is the byproduct of being really consistent day to day. And so hope they're learning from each other, and we celebrate little moments, little individuals. But yeah, like you said, it's the team aspect and the team standards is where we're trying to put our attention this week.
Do you feel like it's something that you actively look to adjust, or is it something that you're trying to sort of build continuity and say, you know what I mean? I'm talking about kind of with rotations, with the rhythm of the team. Are you a coach who maybe says, if something is not working, I'm going to replace a player, move a player, or do you say, no, we're going to keep looking for growth and work it out?
Yeah. I mean, there's more ways to get it wrong than get it right. You can make changes too many too fast, in which case the players have a hard time finding continuity, or you can have, I don't know, the sunk cost effect where you spend too much time on something and you feel kind of committed to it because you put too much time into it. And so you got to live in that middle space where you're making changes, where you have enough information that it's time to make a decision, and then make a decision at the right time. So we're seeing little. If you're watching closely, you'll see little decisions. You'll see some things this weekend that reflect, all right, we got to make a change. We have enough information now that we know we got to make a change, and it's thoughtful and it's not haphazard, and bit by bit, making those adjustments.
You've been through these kind of weekends before where the second team is more highly regarded. How do you make sure that you're not peeking ahead to game 2 of this kind of weekends?
Yeah. Make practice so hard that all they can think about is today's practice. Yeah, be when you are is the message that we've tried to share. It's Wednesday, let's have it be Wednesday, and then it'll be Thursday, and we'll have it be Thursday. And you do a good job of that, and all of a sudden Sunday's there, and it's time to deal with Sunday. I think is kind of my approach towards it. Yeah.
How's Melanie? Do you expect that she'll be okay?
Yeah, tough as nails kind of kid, and she's looking good, and yeah, I expect her to be available, but again, always thinking about their health long term, and but good to know that we've got some options if we need it. But yeah, doing okay.
This is from the position of something I don't know.
Yep.
Your offense seems to be varied. That Melanie has a ton of options when she is setting. You're working that back row attack a lot. It seems like Julia's getting the ball when she's back there.
Yeah.
You have Lydia, McKenna, and Taylor all really terminal options. Mel,
Yep.
too, she's always been such an offensive setter. Is there a challenge in trying to figure out what works best as opposed to having a diverse range of options? Or do you like the idea of saying we're going to be unpredictable and give her as many options as possible?
Yeah, I do think in our sport being balanced long term is what matters most. You don't want to show up in December and have someone that you can't give the ball to, because teams are too good, and then they're going to make you pay for that in the long run. So the long term vision is make sure that you can score from all different positions. And so, definitely have had a lineup in there that is more long term offense focused, to give ourselves as much time to develop, like you said, some back row attacking, middle attacking, different things. That's definitely been the mindset. We've had a lot of hitters out on the court for that, because that's, I think, ultimately what you need in December is to score points. Good question.
Anything more for Coach? All set?
Thanks, guys.
Sweater, where's that from? I feel like I haven't seen it. Talk a little bit about kind of, I know that you mentioned this early in the season, that you're going to have to find your role within the offense. How is that going? How do you think you're balancing out, some of the other attackers? What are things feeling like for you? And on top of that, what does it feel like to have a match like that where you do sort of become the focal point of the offense for a good chunk of the match?
Yeah, so I would say, I think finding my role I think that's a nonstop process. I don't think anyone ever comes in and is finally like, this is who I am, this is done. Like, we're always growing, we're always looking to get better. So I think we've had some good practices lately, and that's definitely been fun. I think that showed for our whole team this weekend. And then, like you said, I had a good weekend, but I think that's really just shows how much our team has been working, because in order for me to score points or for our outsides to score points, there's a digger back there making an awesome dig, and our setters working so hard to put up perfect balls, and then all of our other hitters are pulling blocks for each other too. So it's really a team effort.
A lot was made of this non-conference, how hard the schedule is. Now, in essence, you're through it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say the real season starting, but it kind of is the real season starting. So how do you guys view that now as the conference starts?
Yeah, I know obviously we're really excited for the Big Ten to be starting tomorrow. This is my first time in the Big Ten, so I'm definitely excited to play against Iowa, but just as excited as I am to play against any other team. I know that we had a really hard preseason, but basically the whole emphasis on that was that we'd find out what we need to work on. I definitely think we did, and we're showing a lot of progress, and we're working really hard every day. So, yeah.
I noticed that there were times in the preseason where it would seem like the opposing teams would get on these runs, or kind of had a momentum that you all maybe struggled to turn around. Creighton had like a 12-1 run in that game. And I just wonder, are you recognizing that as a team? Is there a feeling of when that starts to happen, how do we correct it? How do we turn that tide back?
Yeah, something that we work on is just always playing with the same intensity, same level, and that's just something that you really have to come in and work on every day. So whether we're in games or in practice, we're always focusing on that. And when teams do go on runs, yeah, we want to side out, we want to get the point back, but one of the things that we really emphasize is just like playing even. Like, get excited, you get a big point, but you're always holding yourself to the same standard. So I think that's sort of what's going through our minds in those scenarios.
Is there a part of, how do you say this? Obviously, you call it the preseason now. You entered this Big Ten season. Is this a reset point, or does it feel like just you're following the same path that you've been on since the season began?
I think maybe a little bit of both. I think for some of the players, it's kind of like, yeah, now we're starting Big Ten. Now it's just different. We know this conference. We know these teams. But I think overall, we're continuing on the same path that we've been working on. There's never one stopping point or starting point. It's just all one big thing that we have to work through this whole season to get where we want to be at the end. So, yeah.
All right, anything more?
Good. Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good.
Melanie is one of my best friends, so obviously my first concern was just for her and making sure she was okay. But then, yeah, obviously next thought is, okay, I have to go in and set. And I just went on the court and I grabbed my teammates and I said, all right, guys, like, help me out here. Like, we got this. And was obviously just immediately met by so much support from them. And, yeah, just they responded and I felt like they really just locked in and helped me out. So that was super awesome.
Is it obviously you get in-game action. You have such a tremendous service game, and so it's not like the court is foreign to you, and you've had a great career at Kansas and things like that. So not that it's unfamiliar to you, but when you have this element of your game where you aren't doing that for a period of time in-game action, how do you get right into it? Is that something that practice prepares you for, or is that just a part of playing the role that you're playing on the team that you know you have to be ready at any moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit, you just have to be ready at any moment. But I mean, I think on Saturday it was just like, all right, I'm subbing in, I'm going into the front row. It's the first time I've played front row in probably 2 years in a match. And, you just don't really have any choice. And I think our training prepares us super, super well. So, yeah, it's kind of just going in there and having the confidence, having the trust in my defense around me. And I think it's kind of a no-brainer. You just go in there and do your best and just hope you can make something happen for your team.
What did you see from, getting to go out and set this offense and play in this system? Was it an easy transition to make? Did you feel like you had a lot of options? Was it a comfortable fit for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's what we run in practice. And then obviously we have amazing defenders, amazing hitters, so it makes my job pretty easy. Especially I feel like in games we're so on point. So, I mean, I just have to get stopped in my position. I'm going to get a great pass from my passers. And then most of the time I have at least 4 options to set. So, I mean, it's really a setter's dream. It doesn't get much easier than that. So, yeah.
Was there a time where you were able to enjoy it? I mean, did you have fun? Or was it so fast that you didn't get a chance to soak it in?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I think playing in the PAV is the best place to play. So even if I'm going in for half a rotation, it's like so much fun and so awesome, and I really try to just soak that all in. But yeah, I think getting to stay on, getting to set, I mean, that's just an amazing feeling. And I think my mindset going in was, okay, I'm just going to do my job, but how awesome would it be to win this set too? So when we started making some plays, making some things happen, like that's what it's all about, right? You can't help but enjoy that and just feel that rush of the crowd and just getting to compete. So that's not something that you get every day. So yeah, it's awesome.
What about the blocks?
Oh yeah.
I feel like that was just,
Oh my gosh, yeah, for sure. I was just going on and I was, as I said, like, we practice front row stuff, but I haven't done it in a game in a while. So I was just thinking, footwork, watch the hitter go up and just try to make something happen. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then, sometimes everything lines up and it's like, oh yeah, that feels good for sure. I'll take that any day.
What happens sort of going forward? Is there, not that you need to be the person to speak on Mel's hell, but is there a feeling that she is going to step back into her natural role? Are they going to look on you to maybe aid that, or have you learned anything about that this week since that match?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Melanie's a fantastic setter, and we have all the trust in the world in her. She leads a great offense, and I think we're a great team. We work in practice together every day. So yeah, obviously Melanie will be back in her role leading this team, and then I mean, I'm always here for her as always have been. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of our normal routine and just kind of working in tandem with Chloe too. We kind of work as a unit to just, you know, make our sets better, make our team better, and just run a consistent offense no matter who's in there. And I have all the confidence in the world that we'll be able to keep that going. So yeah.
You're through the non-conference part now. What's your sense on where this team can go now once conference starts?
Yeah, I mean, we are so lucky here at Minnesota. Something that I've always said, that we get to have such a tough non-conference schedule, which people might be surprised to hear that, but I absolutely am a huge proponent for it. I think it's so awesome that we get to go play like the country's best teams so early in conference, because I mean, we're playing in the Big Ten, so every day is battle once you get into the Big Ten, and I think we have probably the greatest, we've had the greatest preparation for that kind of intensity out of anyone in the country. So I think we've been challenged in the right ways, and I think we are ready to keep moving forward and play some great teams. So without that, I mean, you know, we wouldn't be as ready, and we might not have as sharp of a plan as we do now. So yeah, I'm excited.
Is there a part of, I think maybe from a fan's perspective, things are viewed differently, but as a player, instead, it's when you're dealing with losses in an arena like that where you are playing some of the top teams in the country, how do you process that? Is there a difference between growth and wins and losses?
I mean, obviously I don't like to lose. Nobody does. So, I mean, that's really tough. I mean, we're all super, super competitive, every single person on this team. But I think especially in preseason and in these non-conference games, you just have to look forward to the future. You have to look towards the real end goal and just kind of see how we can use those losses to shape our team and shape our plans going forward, and just be ready for, again, like the competition that we're going to be facing in the Big Ten, which is unlike anyone else that we're going to be facing. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's sucks to lose and it's not fun and it can feel gritty and bad, but yeah, I think it's kind of failure is the best teacher. So yeah, just getting ready for that Big Ten season.
All right, anything else? All right, Elise, you're all
Perfect.
set.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.